stories is a part of our lives. Our guest today is a creativity genius who has mastered the art of using the lens to tell vivid stories. Lights, camera, and let the celebrity of our campus take the center stage. Hi, Clifford.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. So, can you tell us who Clifford Temple is?
Alright, Clifford Temple is a law student of Imo State University. I am a filmmaker, a commercial filmmaker, a YouTuber, and I also have a podcast. I'm an all-around media person.
Oh, that's really good. Yeah. So, how did you discover your passion for filmmaking?
Okay, I think I've always been someone who has been attracted to creating and making something. Like ever since I was a child, I've always had that knack to make something or bring something to life. I think it's a human attribute that has always fascinated me. I've always been fascinated by the ability for human beings to bring forth something into existence, and that is like the guiding principle behind every single thing I do. I like the idea, the entire process of conceptualizing an idea and bringing it into fruition and saying, I created this, I brought this forth into existence, and it just makes me feel very fulfilled. So I guess that's where the passion came from.
I agree with that. So you mentioned you're a law student.
I am.
That's really huge. So how are you able to combine school and filmmaking?
To be honest, I don't think I am able to combine school and filmmaking, because most times being a law student, our lifestyle is actually very different from the lifestyle of a creative. I don't think I've found that balance yet. So it's still something I struggle with. I'm in my 500 level, that's my final year. Yeah, and up until now, I still struggle with it. It's just that whenever I'm into filmmaking, then my school activity suffers. And whenever I focus on school, my filmmaking endeavor has to suffer as well. I haven't found that balance yet.
Wow, but you're like pushing.
I'm still pushing because it's something that I want to achieve. So I'm just taking it as it comes, honestly.
That's nice. So, what are the challenges you face combining school and filmmaking?
Oh, I would say the school, being a law student, our regimen is very, very stringent. Our schedule is very, very stringent. There's usually a lot to do. Our curriculum is very copious, like it's very large, and during every semester there's always a lot to do. And then filmmaking is also demanding. It requires a lot of attention to details. It requires a lot of dedication. So it's kind of an issue juggling the both things together because of how attention demanding
they both are.
And most times they feel like they are opposites. So
can you share with us a particular project that has had a profound impact on your personality?
I can think of a couple. I've had the opportunity to work with the Cavemen. They are my favorite music band, and I've been opportune to film for them, create something for them a couple of times, and I would say that's the piece that has had the most profound impact on me for a number of personal reasons. Number one being the fact that, first of all, they are creatives, and I'm just a sucker for creative. I love really creative people. And secondly, one of the Cavemen, Kingsley, is a lawyer. Yes. So Kingsley is a lawyer. He graduated from law school campus Kano. He actually inspires me because I'm a law student, going to be a lawyer, and he's pursuing he pursued his career in music and is very successful at it. So it inspires me because most times being a law student, our lifestyle is actually very different from the lifestyle of a creative. And then most of the times in my filmmaking endeavor, it feels impossible. It feels like, oh, you're pursuing something that is just completely in a different direction from what you're doing. And when you look at someone like Kingsley Okorie, who has been able to achieve what he has achieved with the Cavemen and still being a lawyer, inspires me. So whenever I film for them, whenever I work for them, I just soak up that inspiration, I soak up that energy, and it gives me the drive to push forward when I'm having those moments of, second thoughts. Another project I've worked on that's been impactful for me, I would say, that would be the video I did with an artist, Norma. She's an artist in Imo State, a very creative, a very talented artist. So I did a video, a documentary on her entire process, and watching her be a creative just like myself, but in a different field. I think that all creative endeavors are connected. As long as you're bringing forth an idea that you have in your mind into reality, it's all connected. So watching a fellow creative in a different space, observing her process, being that close to her, and just seeing a young person pursue their dream and their passion wholeheartedly, it was a very transformational process for me. I think I soaked up a lot of inspiration from that, and it's definitely one of the most profound things I've ever created.
So, can you tell us what you love most about the thing you do?
So I'm going to say two things.
Okay.
First of all, I've already highlighted on that a little bit, but I am just fascinated. I'm completely blown away by the ability that human beings have to bring forth something into existence. I feel like it is the most powerful attribute that humans have. It is literally the defining attribute of God. Creating something, bringing something to life. It has always fascinated me. I like the process. I like from coming up with an idea, ideation, developing the concepts, visualizing everything in my head, and watching something that was once an idea, a mental picture, an imagination, exists in the material world, and people can get to experience that, and possibly it can benefit them. It's something that is very, very compelling about the creative process. I love it so much, and I wouldn't trade it for any other thing. Something I also love about what I do is I'm also fascinated by the ability to capture a moment in time
freeze it.
Exactly, that would otherwise be forgotten, because let's be honest, the human brain doesn't do justice to remembering things in details.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so as you grow older, as you interface with new experiences and come in contact with new information, you're bound to forget a lot of things. You're bound to forget a lot of things in details, and even the things that you think you remember, you never remember them in details, because of it's mixed up with personal experiences, personal biases, and all that. So you're actually incapable of remembering things in detail, exactly how they happen.
That's
so
true.
I feel like being a filmmaker gives me that ability, that sort of superpower to freeze something, to capture a particular moment in time in its complete detail and save it for posterity. And it's just a blessing to be able to do that.
Yeah, that's really beautiful.
I love it so
like
much.
Saving this moment.
I love it.
Yeah, that's nice. So, do you make money from what you do?
Yes, I do. I do and I don't yet.
Okay.
So like I said, I'm a commercial filmmaker. So the commercial aspect, I make money from that. It's very highly monetized. I film commercials, I film events, shows, and all that. I do content ideation for some companies, some brands, and I make money off of that. Then personally, I like to tell my own stories that mean something to me, stories that are impactful to me and might be impactful to other people. I post my work on YouTube. For now, I don't make money off of that, but it's just the passion that keeps me going.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So let's digress a bit. If you were given $1 billion, $1 billion, what will you do with it?
If I was given $1 billion,
yeah.
Wow. The first thing I would do is to invest it in filmmaking. Not everything, obviously, like a good part of it will go to family and friends, but I'm going to invest a huge amount of that money into just telling stories, improving my craft, improving my skills, because we are constantly learning, and there's a lot to learn, which actually costs money. Improving my skills, improving my gear, my equipment, and just my production value, every single thing. It's just going to be I'll be doing the same thing on a much larger scale. So that's just what money enables you to do.
Yeah, that's actually true. So, what do you think makes a film truly impactful?
What makes a film truly impactful, I think, is the story.
Ooh.
I think stories are powerful. I think stories are the most powerful things to ever exist because it has existed literally since the beginning of time. If you're a Christian and you go through your Bible, the Bible literally started with a story.
A story.
The beginning was the Word and the Word was with God. It's a story.
Yeah.
Stories are very impactful. Stories transcend generations. Human beings have always used stories as a means to reach the next generation. It's something that it permeates every single phase of existence. I'm talking from childhood to adulthood. So you can get to an adult with a story. You can also get to a baby with a story. So I think stories are very powerful. Stories are powerful. They are impactful. They play a very important role in shaping our perception of life.
Yeah.
In changing how we think, in shaping how we think. Stories are very powerful. So what gives impact, the most profound impact to a film, is just the story that's being told.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
So I think when it comes to filmmaking and contemporary filmmaking, to be exact, and that's the reason why when I watch movies, I find myself going back like 7 years ago, 10 years ago to watch old movies, because I think it's something that it's getting lost in the contemporary space of filmmaking. There's a lot of people focusing on equipment, focusing on visual effects, focusing on like how we can make the visual experience more spectacular. And while that is nice, that is good, but I feel like what makes a film, regardless of the budget, regardless of the equipment it's being shot on, what makes a film impactful and profound is the story. Yeah.
That's true. That's actually true. So, are you in a relationship? Abi, you don't chop breakfast?
I am married.
To whom?
To a very beautiful young lady that is smart and intelligent.
Oh, that's really, wow, you're married, a married student, lawyer who is a filmmaker. That's actually, you have, your life has kicked off, and that's beautiful.
Thank you so much, I appreciate
actually
that.
Married.
Yeah. I have a wife.
And kids?
No, not kids yet.
No kids yet.
Married.
Wow, you're married. Wow.
Very, very, very.
So, who is your biggest supporter?
My biggest supporter is my sister.
Oh.
Yeah, my immediate elder sister. She is my biggest supporter. Like I want to say her name, Mary Victoria Clifford. She's very, very supportive. She understands my ideas. She understands my vision. Even when a lot of people around me, or a lot of things around me are they're not understanding it, they're not getting it. Like, it seems like even when I don't even get it, sometimes I feel like, oh, this endeavor might not be worth it, or like it might be a waste of time. And my sister has always been that person that pushes me to go for it. You can do it. Like, people that are achieving it are not different from you. Matter of fact, you have a lot to offer, much more than them. So I would say she's my biggest supporter.
Shout out to
Mary Victoria Clifford, I really appreciate.
Yeah, big shout out.
And we co-host the podcast together.
Oh.
Yeah, his name's Cliffhanger. It's also available on YouTube and every other podcast platform.
That's actually cute. When family helps you, that's a whole lot.
It is.
Cheers to your sister.
It is. I really appreciate it.
So, 5 years from now, where do you see yourself?
Wow, that's a kind of tricky question to answer, because I feel like you can make all the plans in the world and then life just happens.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I kind of refrain from making very, very long-term plans like that. But honestly, 5 years from now, I would like to be doing the same thing, just on a much more bigger scale. I don't see myself stopping.
One question though, how do you plan on dropping your certificates as a lawyer or your career as a lawyer to chase filmmaking? Seriously, we need to talk about this.
I feel like there are different ways to practice law that doesn't necessarily entail being in a courtroom.
Okay.
I feel like our understanding on the practice of law is very limited. It's very, very myopic, and rightfully so, because it is determined by what we are used to and what we all see. What we all see is courtroom lawyers going to court, litigation and all that.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, practicing law doesn't necessarily mean looking for job in a law firm or going to court, because that's not my person. I cannot live that kind of life. I can't look for job. I just cannot. I can't work for someone. I'm just not that kind of person.
Yeah.
So I see my own practice of law to be very unique. I see myself utilizing the knowledge of law in various aspects of my life. The practice of law has enabled me, especially my elocution, able to communicate an idea precisely and compendiously to somebody else, and present my thoughts in a very clear and succinct manner. So I feel like all these are practices of law.
Do you think your parents are going to be comfortable with this?
My parents are results driven, and I feel like most reasonable Nigerian parents are result driven. I feel like parents want what is best for you, and most of the time what your parents want for you is usually influenced by how they see the world and what was the best
at the
time that they were growing up. And for most of our parents, it has always been academics. But I feel like the world is changing very rapidly. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities that have been opened up in various areas, in various spaces that our parents are just not familiar with. And at the end of the day, my parents just want the best for me. So it really doesn't matter the endeavor that I'm doing. What they want is that I succeed and I do well and that I make a name for myself. And if I've gotten the result for them, definitely they are going to be proud.
They would have to be compelled
to
be comfortable.
Exactly.
That's really beautiful. So what advice are you going to give to any young person who is especially a student that has found a passion in filmmaking and wants to chase it?
And this advice I'm also giving it to myself, because I still struggle with it sometimes. I would say go for it. If you feel like you have an inkling towards filmmaking, you have a story that you want to tell, you have a perspective that you want to share with the world, by all means go for it. Life is short and there's no time to second guess yourself or your abilities. That's just what I'm going to say. Action, and the more you act on it, the more you try to bring it into existence, the better you would get at doing that. And the process makes you better. So you also trust the process. Be selective about the kind of people you listen to and the kind of things you listen to, because they can act as an anchor.
You're motivating me to go and do filmmaking right now.
You should if it's what you want to do.
So I think there's a point where you have to tell us where we can go to find out more about you.
You can find me everywhere on the internet. You can find me on YouTube at Clifford Temple. I make documentaries and vlogs, very interesting. I also have a podcast. It's named Cliffhanger. I co-host with my sister. We talk about very interesting topics that cut across all walks of life. It's available on YouTube as well and on every single podcast streaming platform. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook and on Twitter, or Clifford Temple. For now, I'm also a student of Imo State University too, so you can also find me in person at law faculty.
For now though.
For now.
I like that. But it was really nice having you.
Thank you very much.
You're very inspired.
I appreciate.
One word to describe our guest: exceptional. To find more videos like this, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm Sophia, signing out.